In this video, I'm going to demonstrate question number 1 from page 32. Okay, so basically in this question, the first thing that you need to do is to look at the questions. Okay, look at the requirements. They ask you to calculate the profit using the income statement approach and the algebraic profit equation. So income statement approach, you need to come up with the income statement, and the profit equation approach, you only need to have the formula will do. Okay, so they ask you to calculate the profit number 1. Okay, so in requirement number 1, they ask you to calculate the profit. So very simple, you must know that profit equals to revenue minus fixed expense, minus variable expenses minus fixed expenses. Okay, so profit equals to revenue minus variable expenses minus fixed expenses. So you need to look for this few information in your question. Okay, so if you look in into the questions, gardening time manufactures shovels. Okay, and the information supplied for April 2019 is as below. So the variable expense per unit, okay, variable expense per unit is $13 per shovel, and fixed expense is 7,400 per month. Okay, so the sales volume, which is also known as the quantity, sales volume is the numbers of shovels that you have sold. Okay, so your quantity is 820, okay, for 1 month. Okay, and the selling price is $24 per shovel. Okay, so 820 units have been sold. Okay, and the variable expense, you know, is $13 per unit, and then fixed expense figure will be 7,400. So these are the items that you have known in the question. So how to come up with the income statement approach? Very simple. For the income statement approach, you will always start with the revenue. Okay, so you always start with the revenue. So revenue equals to your selling price times with the quantity. So your selling price over here is $24 per unit. So selling price is 24 times with the quantity. So the quantity that you have here is 820. Okay, so 24 times by 820, the figure that you will get is 24 times by 820, you will get 19,680. Okay, so the first thing that you have in your income statement approach, this is for question 1A. Yeah? Okay, for income statement approach, you need to come up with the first line that you have is revenue, and revenue equals to selling price times by your quantity. You will get 19,680. And the second thing, you need to minus off your variable expenses. Okay, variable expenses. So your variable expenses equals to your variable cost per unit times with your quantity. Okay, so your variable expenses equals to $13, because this $13 is the variable expense for 1 unit, and then you have to times with the quantity. Quantity will still remains the same as, it will still remain the same at 820. Okay, so 13 times by 820, you will get 10660. You are going to minus the variable expenses, so you are going to put a bracket over here. Okay, so revenue less expenses, you will get something called contribution margin. Contribution margin equals to revenue minus variable expenses. So 19,680 minus 10660, you will get 9020. So your contribution margin is 9020. And the next thing that you need to do is to minus off your fixed expenses. Okay, and your fixed expenses equals to fixed expenses equals to 7,400. Fixed expenses is 7,400 minus of 7,400, and your profit figure here is 1620. So your total profit will be 1620. Okay, so this is called as the income statement approach, where you need to come up with a statement. Okay, now for the equation approach, is very simple. Profit equals to revenue minus fixed expenses minus variable expenses minus fixed expenses. Okay, so your profit equals to your revenue, which is your selling price $24 times with your quantity 820. So this will be your selling price, this will be the quantity, you have to times with your quantity. Okay, minus of your variable expenses, which is your variable expenses times by your quantity 820. So your variable expenses per unit is $13, you have to times with the quantity again, and then you need to minus off your fixed cost, which is 7,400. Okay, if you calculate the figure, you will still get the same figure, which is 1620. Okay, so this is how you calculate your profit using the income statement approach as well as the equation approach. Okay, and the next one, they ask you what does it mean by contribution margin. So you must tell me that contribution margin, okay, contribution margin is the revenue available after deducting the variable expenses. Okay, and contribution margin can be used to cover fixed expenses. Okay, so this is what contribution margin all about. Okay, and the third question, they ask you to calculate the new profit. So there's a new scenario over here. They ask you to calculate the new profit given the changes below using the equation method. Okay, so now there are two changes here. Number one, your selling price increased by 4%. Your selling price goes up by 4%. Number two, your fixed cost reduced by 8%. So what are you going to do now is, for question number 3, you are going to find the new selling price. Your new selling price, okay, your new selling price will be increased by 4%. Your new selling price will be increased by 4%. So your original selling price, which is $24, okay, it will be increased by 4%. So you need to times with 100% plus 4%, because your selling price will increase by 4%. So this will be $24 times by 1.04. So if you get $24 times by 1.04, you will get $24.96. Okay, so this is your new selling price. At the same time, you have a new fixed expense. If you look at your fixed expense, it mentioned that your fixed cost will reduce by 8%. So your fixed expense, the original fixed expense is 7,400. Okay, original fixed expense is 7,400. Okay, you have to reduce by 8%. So you have to times with 100% minus 8%, because your fixed cost is reduced by 8%. So this will equals to 7,400 times by 100% minus 8% equals to 0.92. Okay, so which is 92% lah. Okay, so 7,400 times by 92%, you will get $6,808. Okay, so your new selling price will be $24.96. Your new fixed expense will be 6,808. Okay, so they ask you to calculate the new profit. Okay, sales volume remains the same. Okay, not expected to change, so your quantity will still remains at 820. Your variable expenses will still remains at $13 per unit. Okay, so how to find your new profit? Very simple. So you know that profit equals to revenue minus variable expenses minus fixed expenses. Okay, we are going to use the new selling price here this time. Okay, so revenue equals to selling price times by quantity. Okay, your new selling price is $24.96. Okay, which is this. Your quantity remains the same at 820. Okay, then you have to minus off your variable expenses, which is $13 per unit times by 820. Okay, so this is your variable expense, this is your quantity, and then you need to minus your fixed expense. Fixed expense, you are going to use this new fixed expense, which is 6,808. So find out the figure. So it's $24.96 times by 820 minus 13 times by 820 minus 6,808. You will get 2,999.20. So this will be your new profit. Okay, so your new profit equals to 2,999.20. So this is how you do question number 1, requirement number 3.